How's it going, Scrub Gamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we're going over another episode of the previously in DBS. We're up to like episode 54 or something like that now, so we're getting well into it. Because this is just a series that I do every weekend on a Sunday, covering the week's news that we get for the week in one video, so you don't have to go through day by day. You can get all together in one video at the end. And we got the last little bits of the anniversary box spoilers, like with the last few cards that we didn't get like officially revealed, and most of them that we didn't get officially revealed because you could still make them out from the video that Bandai put out. Like they did a little trailer for the anniversary box, and as well as that, there was one card that we didn't see the effects at all, and we finally got it revealed. And not only that, but as soon as it hit Friday, Bandai dropped the trailer for the newest set. They dropped it at San Diego Comic-Con, and that was just for them, but it wasn't really posted online much. I think there was a video on the main Dragon Ball card game Facebook page, but you couldn't really hear it properly because it's at a convention. But they finally put out the trailer for it, which I'll link to it down below in the little description box if you want to go and check it out. And it details what the next set is all about, and the set is all about it's all movie characters and stuff. So we know what all the colours are apart from black, what they're going to be based on, but it seems like following from all of it, it's all based on movie stuff. And I think maybe for this set, the black stuff will be set onto a new arc of the Dragon Ball superheroes, because since the UW block, Dragon Ball for black, it's mainly been on Dragon Ball superheroes stuff. And I think soon either this upcoming set, or the next one, because I've started having Prison Planet arc, which is where Fu, I think where we first saw Fu. I can't remember. I didn't really watch it much, but it has things like Cumber and stuff like that. So we might be getting to that. Some new black leaders, like maybe even Fu for the first time. Like eventually, finally getting a Fu lead, which we still haven't had. Maybe a Cumber lead, because I think there was something to mention Cumber. Either that was actually proper or people speculating, because there's a lot of speculation in this game when it comes to what's going to come out. But we got the last bit of the anniversary box stuff. We got some spoilers from new set, because Bandai are putting out 2 reveals a day now, so they're trying to pump out these reveals so quickly. So hope probably by the beginning, because it doesn't come out until the 17th. I think the weekend of the 17th of November, and then the week after. Well, that weekend is the Italian finals, and then the week after is the French, our European finals. And so it's going to be one of those cases where the set's going to come out the weekend of our finals. It may or may not be legal for it. If it is, it'd be similar to how we had for UKG, where the set's not going to be legal, but the ban list update is going to be in effect, which will be this is the only time it'd be nice, because currently, as people mostly seen, Red is running rampant with the 2 new strongest, absolutely busted decks that came out of the latest set. And so it'll be interesting to see. It most likely will be like UKG, where the set won't be legal, but the map list update will be, which is a better thing than previously, because Red is a big issue, and probably one of the biggest issues we've had in the last few formats. And if it gets corrected, that'd be a little bit easier for anybody going, so not having to hope you take Red to try and do well. And we also have the Webcam Locals Results, which go on at the end of the bit. So without further ado, before we actually do get in it, feel free to like this video if you do enjoy this series, giving news out every Sunday. Also comment down below if there's anything you'll see or your opinions. Be nice to have a little bit of discussion and go over and answer some questions as well. And also don't forget to subscribe, because it keeps you updated with my videos as and when they drop. And by clicking the notification bell, you get alerts when they do drop as well. And by doing that, you also help me get to my goal of 1,000 subs, which we're currently almost coming up to halfway there. And at every 100 subs, I do a giveaway. And at 1,000, I'll be doing something special, which at 500, I will describe what it is. And trust me, you're going to want to know what it is. So without further ado, let's get to the video and check out these spoilers. So here we have one of the blue, I think the last blue spoiler from this set, from the anniversary box, and that is Bulma fighting for Vegeta. So this is support for this the old SS4 Vegeta leader. So for the anniversary box, I've tried to do it a little bit easier to showcase the cards by showing the card and what leader or like deck they support, so it's easy to understand a little bit. Some people might look at some of the cards and think, what does that support? Because some of them are a lot more generic than others, and when they're not so generic but like are there to support a certain thing, I just try to detail it a little bit easier. So Bulma Fighting Fury Vegeta is a cantrip, it's 1 drop 1k with an auto when it's played, it's draw 1. So cantrip is one of the like a term for TCGs, which refers to a card that draws on play. So this is actually when you play it, draw a card, which is nice. And it also has a nice little second auto, which is limit 1, costs 1 blue, and needs your leader to be a blue Vegeta GT and the turn be yours. So on your turn, by paying 1 with this leader, you get the following effect, which is when this card is used in a combo from your hand, you get to choose one of 2 effects. So you either have, if one of your blue Vegeta GT cards is in a battle, you can switch up to one of your mono blue energy to active mode, and this card gains 5k combat power for the battle, essentially making this a free 10k, which is really nice for this lead, because this lead needs to deal damage by its leader attack to ramp you in energy, because it's a ramp deck. And by doing this, you're paying the 1 blue energy on the combo by triggering the auto mainly when the leader swings, and then you get the untapped energy, so you get that energy back. So essentially, it's made it so you're just getting a free 10k and it gets a 5k, so it makes it a free 10k and you get energy back. So you've got to pay energy, get it back, and gain 5k, which is very, very, very good value, because you can you can try and push through this leader, which on the front side, 10 to 10 be an extra 10k. Your opponent either has to take it, which allows you to ramp, which advances your game state, or your opponent tries to combo out of it, and they're using quite a few cards early to stop this attack from going through and putting through damage, and that's like minusing their hand while you get to push through. You push through for technically nothing, and you get the Z charge this for your Z energy as well. And the other option you get is to choose up to one of your blue Vegeta GT cards, and it gets double strike for the battle. So if you're trying to finish off with this on your lead, if you're trying to finish off this on your opponent, and you're swinging your lead, trying to finish them off when they're at 2 life, you can use this as like a built-in champer to give the leader double. Like, it's not one cost 10k, it's not a 10k double strike like champer is, but at least it fits in. It's mono blue for the deck because you ramp mono blue cards, so it's a nice inbuilt champer, which a lot of shops are getting now. So that's the Bulma. Really good support for this lead. Like most of the support for this anniversary box to the leads it's supporting is very, very good. Maybe an odd few missed the mark, but most of them hit it like very well or spot on. Now for the second one is my favourite one from the anniversary box, like probably the biggest, I say best support in the anniversary box, and that is 2 cards. So in this anniversary box, set 2 Vegito gets a nice bit of a boost and support by getting 2 cards in the anniversary box dedicated specifically for itself, and that's in the form of a Z battle card and a Z leader. So that's very good. So one of the things I feel that most old leaders and stuff should get is a way to awaken early in some kind of card they could support, and the Z deck is a perfect way to do that because it's accessible at any point in the game, because you don't have to draw into it like you do most cards in your main deck. It's always available as long as you can pay the energy cost and the Z energy cost. You can have access to anytime you want. And both the cards for Vegito are in the Z deck, so there's a Z lead and Z battle card. They both require just 1 energy, see, with the 1 specified cost on the Z battle card and the 1 cost on the Z awaken for the lead, and then 1 Z energy as well. So they're very, very like small costs to give the lead deck a very good boost. So it'd be nice if more older decks get this kind of support where they can awaken early through like the Z deck, like some Z cards. This mechanic is like is a nice way to give older decks support that some of them really, really need. And Vegito is a good example for this, because with the Z battle card, so we'll go over that one first, which is SS Vegito, ready when you are. It's a 9k 1 cost Z battle card that requires 1 Z energy. Has deflect, which means it can't be stopped from coming in, which is quite nice. It's unaffected by any counterplay skill. And it has a nice permanent which goes really well with the lead, where if you have 3 or more colours in your Z energy, this card gains barrier. So when you play this card, if you have a Goku or Vegeta in your Z energy, that card gets red, blue, and green colours from the Lilia's permanent. So it means that it fills that cost for the permanent. So if you play this out and you've got a Vegeta or Goku in your Z energy, that Vegito Goku has 3 colours on it, so it makes it so this Vegito comes in with Barrier. And Barrier Deflect isn't something that should be really on the same card, but given that it's a way to like improve this, it's not too bad. It's not like permanent on it. You have to make sure you commit resources and make sure you've got that set up. So it's not permanently on it, like which no deck card should have, but it has the access to it, which is not too bad. That meets as long as you meet a certain condition. And it's got 2 very strong skills. So the first one is SS Vegito, ready when you are. The first one is an auto, not the name of the card. And this is when this card is played, you look at the top 7 cards of your deck. So top 7 is very good, big chunk of it, especially when you're fitting down by at least 14 cards when you start the game, which is very nice. So like this is going for a good chunk of your deck, trying to find something. You should have enough targets for it, because you should have quite a lot of Vegito cards for the Vegito lead. And you get to add up to 1 Vegito card from among those 7. Shuffle your deck, and if you did add a card to your hand, then you got to place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck. And this is fine. This is actually perfect, because the good thing is that you look at the top 7 to grab something, and if you do, you shuffle your deck first, then place it at the bottom deck, so you're not shuffling the card back in to potentially draw into it. And a nice thing is that you can bring out some cards from the deck with some of the other support this deck has got in like multiple anniversary boxes, and that's by playing things from the deck. So if you got a target in your hand that you want in the deck to bring out for a card, then you can always put that back. It allows you to fix your hand by replacing something that's dead in your hand that you don't want with a Vegito card that you probably do want. So that's a very strong effect. And then the best effect though is the activate main on it, where if your leader is a red Vegito card, its front side is facing up, and you have 2 more energy, and you move this card from the game, you flip one of your leaders to its backside and draw 2 cards. So essentially this means that turn 2 you're guaranteed to awaken. All you need is to combo 1 card off on your turn or your opponent's turn when it gets by the time you get to your second turn. And you can bring this out, get a search from auto, and then trigger to flip your leader over. Because the thing with the Z2 Vegito is, it gains no advantage on the front side. It's because it's back into set 2 when there is no really drawing cards properly on the front side. So it does nothing as front. You want to flip it over as soon as possible. That's the issue the deck has, is being able to flip the leader over and having cards built in. If you before the Z mechanic, having the put cards in your deck to help you self awaken, like take life, because you can only awaken with this lead at 4 or less, because it was a set 2 lead. You'd have to draw into those and be able to play them and use them, which costs energy, and be able to fulfill the conditions on them. And now this just comes out from your Z deck, so you don't have to draw into it, which is the best thing. And then you just need to come down. Then once you get 2 more energy, which is mainly when you're going to play it, because you want to at least have 1 turn to like get the Z energy ready, you then just flip your leader over and draw 2 cards. And now your leader actually gains advantage when it's flipped over, because it's got the auto attack, draw 1 card. That's the only main thing about the auto you need to worry about. And then from then on out, you might think you would always play 4 copies of these, because you might think that the activate main's pointless, which you've awakened, but it's still a searcher for Vegito cards, and it has utility with the Z lead as well. Because the Z lead is probably the best thing about this deck. Well, 2 of these together are fantastic. I mean, the deck so much better than it used to be, like it's ever been really. So the Z leader comes down by paying 1 red and using up 1 Z energy to go on top of your Awaken's red Vegito leader. It's a 15k double strike base leader, so it doesn't go up to 20k like some do. It's still 15, but at least has double strike built in now, so it's a nice way to pressure unisons, markers off units and stuff like that. It still keeps the permanent with what your Goku and Vegeta cards are treated as red, blue, and green in all areas. So keeps that nice permanent, which is very good. Makes charging Goku and Vegetas in this deck a lot better, and just if something requires a specific color of Gogeta or of Goku or Vegeta, it's fulfilled. And now you have 2 activate mains, both are very, very strong. The first one is what makes it so playing more than 1 copy of the SS Vegeta ready when you are is not pointless, because it's activate main once per turn. If you have 3 or more energy and you choose one of your Vegeta Z battle cards, which is currently only this 1-drop and the 5-drop one from the Trunk starter deck, and the effect is you get to play 1 Vegeta card with an energy cost of 8 from your hand on top of the chosen card. Essentially, you bring out this, after you've awakened and got the turn 3, you bring out one of these Vegeta Z battle cards, and then you get which allows you to search the top 7 for a target for this effect, and then you just go activate main lead, choose this battle card you just played, and then slam down an 8-drop on it. And there are some powerful 8-drops that you can put on it. Like, they're not all like busted, but they all have some very good traits. And just being able to slam on an 8-drop Gogeta Vegeta on top of this is amazing. And one of them is a secret rare, which is insanely strong. And then, if you think that was busted, you got the Ever Activate main, which gives the deck some more, like, still draw power. Like some of these Z leaders, they lose the draw power when there's the Awakened, which isn't too bad. Like, not all of them do, but most do. There's a way of gaining cards by drawing. And this allows you to also fill your hand as well, and gives you barrier removal, which every deck needs. So its activate main is once per turn. You place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck, so you just bottom deck a card from your hand. You then draw 2 cards, so you're plussing 1 still. And then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignore barrier, and return it to their hand. Now, it does look like a blue effect because it's bouncing to hand, but it is fantastic barrier removal, because if your opponent's got a Z battle card with barrier, that's removing it from the game, because it doesn't go, once it's removed from the board, it's gone. And going through barrier is fantastic. Like, just choosing something your opponent has some barrier, that's a problem. That's about the hand, and out of sight, out of mind. And it's just fantastic. These two together are probably is a really good example of how to make an old leader so much better and competitively viable as well. So that is around these 2 Vegito lead support. And if you do want to check out how good this support makes the lead, then do check out my stream upload tomorrow, and deck list that comes out later in the week as well, next week, for a showcase of how strong and how great this deck is now with these 2 cards of support. Then for the next one we have the next one is a Gogeta card that's a boost. Basically, all of the red, it definitely boosts all the red Gogeta BR leaders, and there's a few of them. There's at least 3 of them. I've only put the 2 on the screen that I feel are the better ones to work with it, or the ones that this works with better. And this is a 2-cost 15k Z battle card that requires 1 Z energy. Has Deflect, which is a nice thing that Bandai are putting on quite a few of the Z cards to make sure they do come down, because if they fail to end up play or move from the battle area, they move from game. So if you go to play one and it gets stopped from coming in, like with say the Trunks God Sealing thing, it doesn't go back to the Z deck, it gets removed from the game, so it's gone and you just paid energy for it. Some of these having Deflect is very nice. And it also has a permanent like some of the Gogeta cards do, which can't be KO'd. That means by battle or by attacking, which is quite nice. And it has 2 skills. The first one is an auto once per turn. If your leader is a red Gogeta BR card, and you discard 1 card from your hand, when this card is played, look up to 7 cards from the top of your deck, and up to 1 Gogeta BR card with entry cost of 5 or 6 among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So that searches for quite a few targets. It searches for the and it's not leader locked as just mono red. Or no, it's not even locked to color either. It's just add 1 Gogeta BR card with entry cost of 5 or 6 among them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So you need a red leader, but you can get any color Gogeta BR card that's cost 5 or 6. So there's a few targets that's in different colors as well, which is quite nice. And so these are the 2 better leaders to go with it. Then it has a nice activate main as well once per turn. By paying 1, if your leader is a red Gogeta BR card, so once again, very heavily locked to red Gogeta BR leaders, so there's only these 2 and another one that really can use the full effects. And this effect is play up to 1 red Gogeta BR card with entry cost of 8 from your hand on top of this card in active mode, with its non-keyword skills negated until the end of your opponent's next turn. So that's quite nice how it plays it in active mode, so it means you can get an attack with this first, 15k, and then play this effect to play something on top of it in active mode. And it does have some good effects as well. So you lose all your non-keyword skills. That means any autos, activate mains are gone, but you keep things like any strike skills, critical, any attack skills as well, like dual attack or triple attack, things like that, which is quite nice. But you just don't get any like on play, like any autos or activate mains, stuff like that. But there are some good targets for it, and I'll show you what ones there are. So it's any 8-cost Gogeta as well, but then I don't think there's many or any good blue ones, so I didn't bother looking for that. But these are the 2 best, I think the only 2 red ones, and these are 2 good targets. One better than the other. So you can play either of these. Like the SSB Gogeta Onslaught Fusion is quite nice. It essentially comes down as a 35k double striker that can't be KO'd, and it can attack battle cards in active mode, because you can't activate. I know its non-keyword skills are negated, so yeah, it does lose permanent. But it comes at least a 35k double striker you can swing with. The only annoying thing about that is you can't get the auto to potentially burn 2 life, or keep allowing you to swing your opponent's whole board, which is a shame. But the Everyone is probably the better take, and the one that's a lot better to bring out for him, because it is a triple strike dual attacker. So it's actually to 8 costs, so you can either play out a 35k double striker, or if you got the game promo, like the game leader, the game that came with discard, I think it placed it a discard in the leader, you can bring out a triple strike dual attacker. Because remember, it only negates the non-keyword skills, and triple strike and dual attack are keyword skills. So you can just pay for free energy, bring this out. It doesn't search for these 2 targets off the ulti, which is a shame. But if you have mulligan for it, because all you need to do is have the 8 drop, because you can get this 2 drop C battle card at any point. You can bring it down for 2, do a search, then pay an extra 1 by using the awaken or being at free energy, to then play on top this card the SSB Gogeta critical combination, and now you have on turn potentially 2, you can probably earliest you can get out, is a 35k triple strike dual attacker on turn 2 against your opponent, which is nasty. And we've seen some decks where your opponent's had 1 turn, and on turn 2 they're getting hit down hard by a load of stuff. This is a good example of more of that. That's not as consistent, but still a potentially something that can happen. So that's the SS Gogeta C battle card. And then we have the last one being the Ultra Instinct Son Goku over Unthinking Onslaught. Now this is a card that supports U7, Universe 7, but gives more support to this, more and full support to this the old Son Gohan Red leader. It can be used in the U7 Goku deck, or some of the other ones that have Universe 7, War of Universe 7 traits. So that's like the old Theme Booster 1 Gohan, and the yellow Theme Booster Frieza as well. So it's a free specified cost, 20k, that requires Freezy energy. It has Deflect and Barrier, 2 skills that should not be on the same card, but hey ho, it's on this, and a red U7 card as well. And it has Dual Attack, which is quite strong. So it's very good skills that comes in, so it can't really be stopped from coming in, it can't really be interacted with, and it can get 2 at least 20k swings. It has 2 autos as 1 activate battle. So the first auto is Limit 1, thank god, which is if this card is in rest mode and you discard 1 card from your hand, when you use one of your red skillless battle cards in a combo, choose up to one of your cards and it gets 5k power for the turn. So this is very strong because you can tap twice with it to get 2 20k swings, and at any either player's turn, when you just combo with a red skillless battle card in a combo, you can choose any one of your cards, be it a Unison battle card or a leader, and get 5k power for the turn. So you can swing with this combo skillless and make it itself 25k power, or defensively, you can combo with a skillless battle card and then give your leader 5k combo, 5k boost for the turn, which is very strong. We know how strong Bean can be against a 15k board of 15ks, so this is just as strong. And it's got a nice auto where at the end of your turn it's just active mode, so you can stack twice with it, but it won't stay in active mode because it'll restand it at the end of your turn. But there's a way to get in rest mode, and that's the activate battle, which is limit 1. And luckily this effect is limited to universe leaders with War of Universe 7, so being this Gohan leader and the 2 from Fee Booster, the Gohan and the Frieza. And it's if your leader is a War of Universe 7 card, you switch this card to rest mode, and you add 1 skillless battle card from your drop to your hand, which is great. You're adding a card back that you can just straight up combo with and trigger the first auto with. And you choose one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons, and it gets minus 15k power for the turn. So that is that's unison hate again as well, Red's been getting, which is minusing unisons down by power. So that's very strong. Just the fact that you can just activate battle, just go, I'm going to add this skillless back to hand and minus your unison by 15, that's a 15k, to remove a marker from it potentially, and get rid of his skills, or just make it so you can swear the battle. And then still, if this battle's still going on, just then go combo that skillless battle card and use the first auto to give your leader something 5k power for the whole turn. It is just very strong. So it's a very strong card. People say, I've seen people say that's quite costly being a specified free cost, but with Barrier and Deflect, getting 2 swings of it, and then having that quite strong defensive capabilities there with this lead or any other Warrior of Universe 7 lead is very strong. That is a very good card that Red keeps getting and people don't like. People don't like that Red's getting so many good cards. But it hasn't been amazing all the time, especially compared to blue and yellow and even black. It hasn't been one of the best colours in the game for a good while, really. And that is all the anniversary box cards. So given that was over, as I said, Bandai dropped the trailer for the next set. So if you want to go and check that out, go and check the link to it in the description box below. And they started releasing some trailer spoilers, and we're getting two spoilers per day. So we've got most of one colour now, and a few more. So the colour they started with, as you would expect, is red. And for red, one of the sides of it is the red Saiyans. So we got more red, another red Saiyan leader, and more red Saiyan support. Like red just seems to be a heavily red, like a Saiyan kind of color. So for this one, it's part of the Android 13 saga. So if you guessed it, Android 13 is the other side of it. And for the good side of Android 13 saga, we got Son Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks as a leader. So a trio leader on both Unawakened side and Awakened side. And then it's the Z lead for this deck. I think more decks now in this set are getting Z leaders. I know the first set, not all the leaders got a Z leader. Like I think each archetype had it, so one leader got a Z leader, apart from red and black, which black had only one leader anyway, got Z leaders for both. So hopefully for this one we get a Z leader for every single deck, because that should be really the case for a Zenkai deck. It should be more focused on Zenkai mechanics. And on the front side of it, it's just got a basic auto of when it attacks, you draw one. So very standard. And its Awaken is a big chunky line of text. And that's when your life is at 4 or less, or you have 2 or more energy and a Son Goku, Vegeta, or Trunks future card, or red in the Evolve skill in play. You draw one, untap one, take your life down to 6, flip over. And now you're just Super Saiyan forms of the trio in near enough the same poses. And now your auto is you discard one red Saiyan card from your hand as a cost, so that when you attack, you draw 2 cards. So that's not too bad, because it has its archetype has a way to play red Saiyans from the drop. And then you now have an activate main once per turn. If you have 3 or more mono red energy, so focus on mono red, which is I think something that I might focus on for quite a bit. Well, it's a good focus for both these decks in red. You get the play up to 1 Son Goku, Vegeta, or Trunks future card, all red when an energy cost of 1 from your drop with the skills to get for the turn in rest mode. And at the end of your turn, place that card in your drop area. It's not going to go to your drop area at the end, because you're going to be using Evolve skill as like hinted in the front side of the leader to play on top of them to do stuff. And then if you get to a Z leader, so the Z leader requires 1 Z energy, 1 red energy, you'll have to be at 3 or less, and you place up to 3 of your Z energy under your leader on top of a red Son Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks future card. So it only works with this leader so far. And do note that the placing up to 3 of your Z energy under this red leader is optional. So you can, because it says up to, you can put under it 0, 1, 2, or 3 cards from your Z energy under it. So it doesn't require 4 Z energy; it requires 1 and 1 red leader, red energy, sorry, on top of your leader when it's a 3 or less. And then you can also put 3 Z energy to fulfill some effects on the Z leader. And it's got 2 autos. So now its attack is when it attacks, for each non-leader card under this card, it gets plus 10k power for the battle. So it means if you put 3 cards underneath your Z energy from the Z Awaken, you can swing and gain 30k power on top of it. So that you attack and then become a 45k swing, which with double strike as well on the lead as well, I forgot to mention that, is pretty powerful. So that is pretty strong. And the other also is place all of your non-leader cards from this card in your drop areas. At the end of your turn, choose all your opponent's battle cards, give them minus 10k power for each for the turn for each card placed in the drop area by the skill, and then remove this card from the game. So it's one of those leads where you can fulfill a skill to drop the leader off, go back to your normal awakened leader. So that's pretty cool. But that seems pretty strong. Being able to have a leader that you swing with and go and become 45k double strike is pretty strong. And do note the second auto is a cost to place all the non-leader cards from under the card into its drop. So if you don't pay that cost, you don't remove it from the game, so you can stay like this anyway. But if you do in the Z leader, you lose any draw power and just get that big swing instead. And then some of the 1-drops with the archetype. So there's a 1-drop for Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks, and they're all whatever the character they are, at the ready. And they're all the same power, 1 cost and 4k. They all have a similar activate main as well, which is limit 1 on all of them. If your leader is the leader we just saw, Son Goku, Trunks and Vegeta future card, and you have one of the other two that are both red with an EX Evolve skill in play, you get to play this card from the hand in rest mode and place this card in the zoner's drop area at the end of the turn. It doesn't matter about putting the card in the drop area at the end of the turn because you can be EX Evolving it over anyway, so you don't lose it. So they all have the same activate main, which sort of saves going over each of them individually. But they do have different autos. So the first one is Goku. He's the searcher. Like most archetypes have a 2 1-drops. That one is a draw card, one is a searcher. So Goku's searcher, where when it's played, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 red saying card when entry costs a 4 or less among the 2 hand, then shuffle your deck. Trunks is the cantrip, where when it's played you draw a card. And Vegeta is the odd one out, where when this card is played, you get to add up to 1 Son Goku, Vegeta, or Trunks future card, all red with entry cost of 3 and the evolve from your drop to your hand. So he's the recurrer. So you recur the card, like a target you can play on top of these cards, back from your drop to your hand, which is quite nice. So those are the 1-drops, and the ones that go on top of them, being EX Evolve skills, are the same 3 characters. Now they're just Super Saiyans with evolved offensive as the rest of the name. They all have the same kind of evolve skill, where you have EX Evolve for 1 red on top of another copy of itself that's entry cost of 1. So Goku on top of a red Goku with entry cost of 1, and same for the other ones, their character with entry cost of 1. And they all have the same, and once again the same activate main, where limit 1 for 1 red. If you have one of the other 2 in play that are both red with entry cost of 3 and EX Evolve in play, you get to play this card from your hand. So say if you've got the Goku in play, you can activate the activate main skill paying 1 to play the other one of the other 2 from your hand, and it's also limit 1, so you can't just play multiple at the same time. And they all have different kind of autos and skills though. So with the Goku, he has an auto when this card is played by an evolve. You all have the same first auto, sorry. Where when this card is played by an evolve you draw 1 card and switch this card to active mode, because since you play out some of the 1-drops in rest mode, you get to play them on top, draw a card, and switch them back to active mode. Basically similar to the yellow Trunks deck, just less barrier on the cards. That's really it. And Goku's ever auto that's unique to him is when this card attacks, you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 15k power for the turn. So swing and minus something, which is quite cool. And Vegeta's one is when this card attacks, place it in his owner's drop area at the end of the turn. When this card is placed in the drop by this skill, add up to 1 Goku or Trunks card with both red and an energy cost of 3 and X evolved from your drop to your hand. So once again, more recursion on this one as well, just like the 1-drop. And Trunks is a little bit different, where he's got the blocker keyword skill, and his ever auto is at the end of your turn, which is kind of active mode. So he's kind of the defender of the 3. So Goku's more the aggressor, gain advantage and taking away from your opponent. Vegeta is the recursion, and Trunks is the defender. And then we have some other cards from the set as well. So we have one of the battle card with the trio on as well. So SS Son Goku, SS Vegeta, SS Trunks, triple combination. It is a 4 cost 20k with an auto. Limit 1, places 1 card from under this card in his drop area. When this card attacks, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards. It gets minus 30k power for the turn. So a nice little just place a card from underneath it, minus 30k, 1 of your opponent's battle cards for the turn. Doesn't go for barrier, which is good. So otherwise that'd be pretty nuts, because it can come down for 1 energy using his activate main, where it is for 1 red. Choose 1 red saying card in your battle area, play this card from your hand, and place the chosen card under it. And that's just anything, so that can work in any other red leader deck. So this could work really good in Pan, because you can use any red saying card in your battle area already, play this card from your hand on top of it, and then get the boost from Pan, 5k boost from Pan, which then will draw your card, and then it becomes 25k for things like Heartfelt and stuff like that. And then has that very strong auto of removal through minusing. And then we have SS Son Goku, Spirit Bomb Absorbs. This is the 8-drop boss monster for the deck, 30k. It's got triple strike and barrier. And it's got 2 activate skills. First one, activate main. For 3 red, if your leader is a red Saiyan card and you choose 5 Son Gohan, Vegeta, Trunks, Future, Piccolo and or Krillin cards, all red in your drop area, You get to play this card from your hand and place those chosen cards under it with a skill with the skill. So you don't need to have one of each. You just have to have 5 of cards of those characters to place under it. So you can have literally put 5 of just one of them underneath, or a mixture of them. Play itself for 3 red energy, and then it's got an activate battle once per turn, where limit 1. Place 5 cards from this card in there as drop areas. When this card gets plus 10k power for the turn, and you choose all your opponent's battle cards, and you get minus 20k power for the turn. And at the end of the turn, place this card in its owner's drop area and play up to 1 red Son Goku card with entry cost of 1 from your drop. So essentially, you get it's a 40k triple striker, minus 40k your opponent's board, potentially killing most things. And then, if the opponent does survive, you lose this and get 1 drop out. Not too bad for like a kind of good finisher. Having Barra means it's hard to interact with, but at least it doesn't have to flex. So you can still counterplay it in some way. And then we have the Z battle card for the deck. So it gets a Z battle card and a Z leader, and this one is Son Gohan at the ready. 1 energy, 1 Z energy, 4 cost. 4k. He's got blocker and a permanent where your red Saiyan cards with energy cost of 3 and evolve game blocker. So it means it gives all the 3 drops blocker, as well as even though Trunks already has it, gives the other 2 blocker. His auto is at the end of your turn. Choose up to one of your red Saiyan cards with evolve and switch to active mode, so you can get defend a little bit easier if you want to. And then activate main once per turn if your leader is a red Son Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks future card. During your opponent's next turn, when one of your red Saiyan cards with energy cost of 3 and evolve is placed in your drop area, and it's use the energy from your drop. So that's quite nice. During your opponent's next turn, if it's placed in your drop, that doesn't specify how, be it set by an effect or by blocking being killed. You get the Z charge it, which is quite cool. So you can block with one of them, it dies, and then you get to Z energy, put in your Z energy, which is quite nice. That's actually pretty decent, but is this really gonna survive until then? Oh no, it just isn't actually mean, so it just triggers any point. That's not too bad. It's alright. And then we have some of the other cards that are supported that aren't those trio. So we got Son Gohan being the 2 cost skillless card for red. And then we got Piccolo at the ready. So there's a 5 cost 20k with blocker and a permanent where this card gets minus 10k power during your turn and gains power during your opponent's turn. So it becomes a 20k power in your opponent's turn and just normal 10k 5 drop in your opponent's turn. 2 autos, first one being limit 1 for 1 red if your leader is a red Son Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks future card and your opponent has 2 or more energy. When you place a red Saiyan card with an energy cost of 3 and EX evolve from your battle area in a drop, play this card from your hand. So you get to play this. Just when one of those 3 drops with EX evolve is placed in your battle area from your battle area in a drop, you get to play this card from your hand for 1. And it's got a nice auto once per turn when this card activates blocker, switch this card to active mode and need a turn place it in his owner's drop area. So you get to block 2 attacks with barrier as well, which is quite nice. So extra blocking. And you've got Krillin at the ready. This is kind of like a nice one to get advantage. It would be nice to just have barrier just to keep on the board for a bit, but that would be a bit too strong because it's a 1 drop 4k. With an auto once per turn. If it's your opponent's turn, when your opponent plays a battle card with 15k power or more, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 red Saiyan card with energy cost of 5 or less among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So I reckon this could be a nice card in Pan as well if you're going first. You can play this out. If you play any 15k or plays a battle card with 15k power, you get to top 5 search for a Saiyan card, which is quite nice. That's quite a cool card. Probably good in the cube as well, because it has that nice little utility for cube. Then we have the last card for the red Goku deck, red trio Saiyan deck, Spirit Bomb Unleashed. 2 cost extra card, activate main limit 1. If a red Son Goku, Vegeta, Trunks future leader card is under your Z leader, you get to choose up to 1 of your red Son Goku Z leaders, and it gets 30k power and critical for the turn. So that's not too bad. Essentially, you can, if you're on your Z leader and you've got 3 energy underneath, 3 cards underneath it from your Z Awaken, you can activate this. Choose your Z leader for this archetype. As long as it's a Son Goku as a Z leader now, it becomes a 40k 45k critical for the turn. Then you swing with it, and it now gets another 30k to go up to a 75 double strike crit swing. That requires 2 energy, and however much energy the Z leader costs. So that seems scary, but just one negate and that's it. It's just wasted. So it's good that this is activate main and not activate battle, because otherwise that'd be a bit a bit annoying, really. Not too strong, but annoying. So that's it for the red setting lead. Now we go over to the red Android 13 lead. So red Android 13 goes from being Jiro's supercomputer to being Android 13, and then Z Awakens to being this is like blue weird form for Android 13. So this one's quite interesting. The thing I do I think does suck about it is that on his unawakened side, it's a Jiro supercomputer, not Android 13. So some of the older support that could work with it doesn't really work until you're awakened. But luckily you can awaken quite easily, because your permanent on the unawakened side is it can't attack, similar to most leads, most loose leads when they're like something that is pretty frail and pretty weak, like the sim with on its front side being the ball. But it does have an activate main, similar to the red sin lead, whereas switches card to active mode. Then you look at, but instead of looking for its balls, you get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add up to any one red Android card among them to your hand, and shuffle your deck. So that's quite nice, a little bit nice searchability. And its awaken, which is a big wolf text, just like the ever red lead, is when your life is at 4 or less, or you have 2 or more energy, and 1 or more Android 13 card, Android 14 and Android 15 cards, both red when energy costs of 1 in your battle area and or drop. You may switch this card and up to 1 of your energy active mode, and add cards from your life to your hand until you have 6 left. So all you have to do is get an Android 14, Android 15 card in your battle area that are red and 1 drop, and then you get to, which you get to turn 2, awaken by restanding this, because you're going to be using the search effect first, and then untap an energy and go down to 6 life. And now you're under 13 Terra's Inception, so now you're just a basic 15k lead. With an auto, when it attacks, you get to choose 1 or 2 effects. You either play 1 Android 14 or 15 card, both red when energy costs of 1 from your hand, or you draw a card. So you either play a 1 drop or draw a card, and at least the 1 drops will see can gain you advantage in a certain way. And you got an auto, which is place 1 Android card from your Z energy in its owner's drop as the cost. When you play a red Android card, add it to 1 red Android card from your drop to your Z energies. You get literally, so essentially what it does is when you play an red Android, you get to switch something in your Z energy with something from your drop, which is quite interesting. It does make a difference for certain cards, as we see. And for the Z Awaken, for Android 13, you need to pay 2 Z energy, pay 1 normal energy, and be at 4 or less life to play it on top of a red Android 13. And now your auto is just when this card attacks, play it to 1 Android 14 or Android 15 card, both with energy cost of 1 from your hand or drop. So now you get an option to play a card. You don't get the draw effect option anymore. It's just play an Android 14 or 15 1 drop, red 1 drop from either your hand or your drop. So you lose the effect to just draw a card, but you get to play it from a 1 from your drop if you want. If you don't want to play 1 from your hand, or don't have 1 in your hand. And you also now have an activate battle, which is once per turn. You got to place 1 Android 13, 1 Android 14, and 1 Android 15 card from your Z energy and earnest drops. So a lot of Z energy, at least 3 energy just trigger this, and this is simply just draw a card and make this card 5k power, 5k in power, and double strike for the turn. Then that's not too bad. That's quite a decent effect because you can either use it aggressively to send this free Z energy to then draw a card and become a 20k double strike for the turn. So if you're going for a quick kill swing with your lead and you're putting everything into it, you can make it a leader without requiring energy, just free specific Z energy, being 113, 114, 115. Or you can use it defensively because it's for the turn, so you get defensively make your leader a 20k double strike for the turn. So defensively make it 20k instead of 15k, and also draw a card from that as well, which is actually quite strong. Like, I do like that effect. It's quite decent. And that is it for the lead. So with the 1 drops and the ones you're going to be playing, so you've got Android 13, Uninvited Guest, and then Android 14 and 15, Mechanical Assailants. They're all 1 cost 4Ks. So Android 13 is the just normal searcher. Also has a Union Zorb, where once per turn by paying 1 red. If your leader is a red Android 13 card, your opponent has 3 or more energy, and you place 1 Android 14 and 1 Android 15 cards From your drop area under this card, so it got to be in the drop, the end of 14-15, you get to play up to 113 card with energy cost of 7 from your deck on top of this card in active mode, then shuffle your deck. So the nice thing is it comes in active mode, so you can play this out right from any skill and rest. It comes out in active mode, and it's any 7 drop Android 13. It's not color restricted, so you can play any Android 13. So we've got some yellow ones and we've got some green ones. We've got some multicolor ones. You can play any of those. I think we've got a multicolor blue one as well. So any Android 13 with energy cost 7, you can play it from your deck. So it gives you a bit of that different kind of tech choices, which is cool. And it's got an auto when this card is played. You look up to 5 cards from the top of your deck and up to 1 Android card with entry cost of 3 or less among to your hand and shuffle your deck. So that's going to look for a fair few cards in this archetype. And this one as well is not color locked with the Android it searches. So you can look for any Android with entry cost of 3 or less among to your hand, which is quite nice. There's some old ones that you can search for from this that are quite useful for this deck. And then Android 14 and 15, they have basically a similar effect, which is auto limit 1 if your leader is a red Android card. And all your energy is mono red, so this is the bit that I don't like about this, is that your energy needs to be mono red for these skills to trigger. Essentially, when this card is played, you get to choose 1 or 2 effects. The first one is if your leader is a red Android 13 Z leader, draw 1 card. So this can give you that draw power that you didn't have, that you lose from when you awaken, well, Z awaken anyway. So you can play one of these out from the drop and then draw a card. So you don't really lose the draw power really on the Z awaken. And the other option is add up to 1 Android of the other copy, so Android 14 adds 15 and 15 adds 14. Mechanical Assailant from your deck to your hand and shuffle your deck. So it means you got that search ability. So if you have 1, you get to play 1, grab the other one to make it so you can kind of guarantee your awaken turn 2, which is really cool. And that's it for those 1 drops. Next we go on to the ones that are the higher ones of these cards. So we now have Android 14 and 15 uninvited guests, and we also have the Z battle card for this side of it, being Android 14 and Android 15 team up terrors. So with the free drops, they are 15k free drops. They both have the same activate main / battle skill, which is limit 1 by paying 1 energy. If your leader is a red Android 13 card and you have 2 or more energy, and the other character in your Z energy. So for 14 you need a 15 in your Z energy, and for 15 you need a 14 in your Z energy. Your opponent may choose 2 of the battle cards and have them get minus 20k power for the turn, and if they don't, you draw a card and play this card from your hand. So essentially, if your opponent either doesn't have 2 battle cards in play or doesn't want to minus any of their battle cards if they've got 2 or more by 20k power, you draw and play this card out. So you can still play this card, you can still trigger this effect if your opponent doesn't have. It has 1 or less battle cards in play, because it just means that you'll be forced to allow you to draw a card and play this card from your hand. And being activate main / battle is quite nice because it means you can play it during your opponent's turn or during your turn to just bring him out, replace himself, and have these 15ks on board. And they have slightly different autos. So Android 14 is a blocker with an auto where if you have a red Android 15 card in your Z energy, at the end of your turn you get to switch this card to active mode to give it so you can swing with it and then block with it in your opponent's turn. And Android 15 is when it attacks, it gets 5k power for the battle, making it a 20k swing, which is quite cool. Then the Z battle card is a 15k 2 cost that requires 3 Z energy. It has deflect, unique, dual attack, and blocker. It also has a permanent where if you have a red Android card with energy cost of 7 or more in play, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1 in your Z deck by 1 red, making it a 1 cost 15k. If you've got 7 cost or more red Android in play. And then you've got the 2 autos on it. The first one is once per turn, when this card attacks, use up to 1 Android card from your dropper in a combo with its skills negate for the turn. So that's any Android, no color restriction or anything like that, or cost restriction. And this card gains barrier until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then you have the other one, which is once per turn, when this card activates blocker, switches to active mode. So you can have it gain barrier until the end of your opponent's next turn by just swinging and comboing 1 Android card from your drop. And then you can have it block twice by activate blocker, switch it to active mode, and it's dual attack, so you get 2 swings out of it, both being barrier after that. Deflect means it can't be stopped from coming in, and then you can block 2 attacks defensively as well, so you can get 2 attacks and block 2 attacks, which is quite strong. I do like this effect. I might put at least one of them in my Z deck. I'm not sure yet because there are some. The Vegeta Z battle card is so strong. You have to compare most Z battle cards that are red to that card now, which is is difficult to do. So that's the Android 15 and 14. Then we have the big boss card for this side of the deck. So that is the 7-drop Android 13 Total Annihilator. He's a 25k beat stick. He has Deflect and Double Strike. So unfortunately, he's not out the rain way like most boss cards of all the counter plays. So having Deflect means he's unaffected by all of them apart from green, and not having Barrier or being an 8 cost means that that he is susceptible to Charismatic Villain in green. So that's the only counter play that it gets hurt by. And it does have a permanent where if your Android 13 card is under this card gets dual attack, so it can become a 25k dual attack double striker, and isn't affected by the skills of red Saiyan cards with 20k power or less in any of your opponent's areas. So I'm not sure how relevant that's going to be, but it's nice to just have that extra as well. And it has auto-related attacks, and also this auto is not once per turn, so if you do have dual attack on this card, you get this effect twice. And this is when it attacks, use up to one card from under this card in a combo with its skills negated for the turn, and then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards or unison cards, and it gets minus 20k power for the turn. So more unison minusing for this one as well. So both archetypes in this red deck from this new set both have power reduction of unisons, which is cool. And if you don't use it out by the 1-drop Android 13's Unium Absorb, you can use it play out by his activate main, which is limit 1 for 2 energy if your opponent has 3 or more energy and you choose 1 Android 14 and 1 Android 15 cards in your battle area and or drop, and basically you get the player's card from your hand and put the chosen cards underneath it, so that you give you 2 cards underneath it for the auto, and that's not too bad. So if you don't use it by the Android 13, for which it costs the same amount of cards, but just give it more skills, then you can play out just maybe if you have it in your hand by their skill as well. So this is not too bad. But you've got to remember that there is the 8-drop Omega Sin Shenron from the last set for Sin, which its requirements to play out just requires 2 red for you to have 3 more energy, and your leader either be a red Shadow Dragon or a red Z leader. Now, there's no restriction on the red Z leader, just that it's got to be a red Z leader, so you can play that card instead of this in this new deck and have a better big boss card anyway. And then we have the other androids we get in red for this archetype. So we get Android 17 finally free, which is a 15k free cost. Android 18 being the free cost skillless card of this color, and being a free cost 30k skillless. And then Android 20 Inherited Evil being the red super combo. And this is an interesting super combo as well because it has 2 cost 15k, and it's also that because most good super combos have an auto where it can gain you a card. And this one, it seems to be how it's going to be going forward in this set for each color, which is if your leader is red and either your leader is a Z leader, or you have 2 or more Z energy, or you have a Z battle card in play. When this card is used in combo, draw 1 card. So this is nice that it is like a new kind of super combo that just draws 1, but it has different ways to trigger it, and even while you're at higher life. So one of the easiest ways to trigger this to get the draw at any point is to have 2 more Z energy and have a red leader. You can have this combo draw card. So it's nice having these cards that can allow you to use a super combo high life without having to meet many conditions, and having 2 more Z energy is very easy to do. That's quite cool. The Android 17 is a nice card as well because, as I said, it's a free cost 15k. It has critical and it has a counter attack skill, which is limit 1. Where if your leader is an Android 13 card, you can get this card, you can get your attack and play this card in rest mode. Now you might think that is costly at free cost, but it has a nice permanent where if your leader is a red Android 13 Z leader and your life is at 3 or less, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. So once you get a Z leader, which is very easy to do, you can then negate. If you go down to 3 life, you get to use this as a free negate once a turn because it's got limit 1 on the counter attack, and you just basically get established not only negate attack, but establish a 15k critical attacker for your next turn as well, which is quite cool. And given that red has things like Violent Rays, that's very, very good to go after Violent Rays to stop any attack that goes under the Violent Rays as well. And that is it for, well, that's it for the battle cards. Now we have the extra cards for the red Android archetype, and that is Forgotten Capsules, Android Assault, and SS Deadly Bomber. So the first one, Forgotten Capsules, is a 1 cost extra card, which activate main, place one other card from your hand at the bottom of your deck, And the effect is add one Android 14 and one Android 15 card, both red when entry costs 1 from your deck to your hand and shuffle your deck. So more ways to search out both the Android 14 and 15 cards to make sure you can awaken turn 2 on the dot. The other one is Android Assault, which is a counter attack extra card for 1, which is the counter attack skill is if your leader is an Android 13 card, you get the attack and add up to 1 red Android card when entry costs 1 from your drop to your hand. So like kind of similar to Sturdy Burst, where you get to negate attack and then get back something. So in this case, you get a red Android card with entry cost 1, but this is only from your drop area, unlike Power Burst, which is from your drop or warp. And similar to it's got a similar kind of skill to Power Burst as well, where you can pay it without paying its entry cost, but it's got a different kind of condition. And this one is if your leader is an Android 13 Z leader, you can activate this card's counter skill from your hand by adding 1 card from your life to your hand instead of paying its entry cost. So that's quite a nice negate. Not amazing, but you can't, like, technically the token negate would be better than this, because that can potentially stop 2 attacks, where it just negates attack, which you can do by taking a life and then get yourself a 1-drop Android, which isn't better than having a token that can block another one. Then the last one we have is SS Deadly Bomber. So this is a 2-cost activate main extra card, where if your leader is a red Android 13 card as a cost, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards in your barrier and give it minus 20k power for the turn, and then play up to 1 Android 14 or 15 card, both red when entry costs 3 from your hand. Now that's not this, like, yeah, this is a nice card, but then red has a the SSB Kaioken Son Goku, which does the same thing, which for the same cost, 2 red energy, you get to minus 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, but that card minus by 25 with this minus by 20k. And even though this has a benefit of also, as well as doing that, bring out an Android 14 or 15 from your hand with entry cost of 3, it's still playing a card from your hand. It's still taking a card from your hand to play, and you'd rather play the free cost Android 14 and 15 cards from your hand by using their skill, because at least by using their skill you can draw a card to replace them, whereas this didn't replace them. So I don't think this is a decent card, because SSB Kaioken exists and does it a lot better. So yeah, that's not a great card. Not while SSB Kaioken exists and it can play it. But that's it for the red card. So we've seen all red cards already after like a few days of the new set being revealed. Well, all the cards for the archetype. There are a few cards missing that, but more the Broly. There are not Broly, but the movie-looking cards and the Son Gohan rare, because this set has a campaign rare, which is the Son Gohan rares. And so next card we have is green, and so far we started off with the green Gogeta. So in this color, for green, the movie that it's based on is the is the Broly BR, the Broly Dragon Ball Super movie. So the sides are Gogeta and Broly. So for the green, this side of green, we get the Gogeta as the leader, and it goes from Veku to Gogeta to then to be SSB Gogeta. So starting off with Veku, it's a 5k leader, which is similar to some Earthling leads like Launch, Bulma and stuff. And it's got a few autos, first one being when this card attacks, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and up to 1 Son Goku BR, Vegeta BR or Gogeta BR, all green with entry cost of 6 or less, add them to your hand, then shuffle your deck, and this card gets 5k power for the battle. So there's only going to be 5k defensively to defend with, but it can swing and become a 10k, and also search yourself, like probably most of the archetype, which is quite cool. And then several auto is if you have 2 more energy, when one of your Z energy cards activates EX Evolve. When one of your Z energy cards activates EX Evolve, you may flip this card to its back, and if you do, you draw 1 card, switch one energy to active mode, and take your life down to 6. So it's got an alternative awakening, which if you use an EX Evolve skill from your Z energy, so that's quite cool. It seems to be like you can play stuff from your Z energy, which is quite nice. But then there's also a gimmick like green has most of the time, and has for a while now. And it's just normal awaken is when you last 4 or less, draw 1, untap 1, flip over. And when you flip over, you now Gogeta fusion complete. You still have 2 autos. Just now, your first one is once per turn, when you play a green battle card with EX Evolve skill from your Z energy, or a green Gogeta BR card with a union skill from your hand, you draw a card. And that's not just the draw on it. You still get the Ever Auto, which is when his card attacks, draw 1 card, but you also gain 5k for the battle. So that's quite a nice skill. So this can draw quite a few cards. Either so it can draw 1 on swing and become a 20k on swing, which is quite cool. So drawing a card and becoming a 20k swing is quite decent. And if you use EX Evolve from your CNG or Union skill from your hand, you draw a card. So it seems like there might be quite a bit of draw power on this. And then you can go into your Z Leader, which these requirements for the Z Leader is 2 Z energy, paying 1 green and being at 4 less life, and only going on top of a green Gogeta BR. So like, the one thing I feel like this could have done nicely, is I think people have mentioned it as well, is having this, like the Z Leader being the 3 colours that we have Gogeta BR so far, which is blue, green, and well, blue, red, and now green. Maybe having a permanent where it could have all those colours and be able to play on any Gogeta lead, or having like some way to like mix all the colours together, which unfortunately this doesn't. And it does have a permanent where during your turn it gains 5k power. So it still is a 20k swing on your turn as a Z Leader, which is quite nice because it's a 15k base. And it's got 2 autos. So the first one still allows you to gain advantage from this lead, but through outside means. So it's auto once per turn. When you play a green battle card with an EX Evolve skill from your Z energy, or a green Gogeta BR card with a using skill from your hand, you get to choose 1 or 2 effects. Either you draw 2 cards and discard 1, or you make your opponent discard 1. So either you get hand control, or draw 2, discard 1, which is quite decent. And the second skill, which is quite nice, is if your opponent uses a card in a combo, you may place up to 1 card with 5k combo power or less from your opponent's combo area in its drop area, and if you do that, you negate the skill for the turn. So it's got that kind of Paragus, no, not Paragus, the green Bardock Unison auto built into this lead. So that together, you can start ripping your opponent's combo piece to kind of hinder charging his energy, which is quite cool. You do, however, to get this out, need to go down to 4 energy, and your leader does gonna take yourself down to 6 by its alternative awakening condition, unless you take more damage, or well, it's easy enough to go down now because you can awaken at 6, use the Vegeta Z Battle card to take yourself down to 5, and then a token negate puts you down to 4, ready to go into this. That's quite cool. And then we got some of the cards. We got the Z Battle card for this card, so it seems to be probably 4 Z cards, 2 for each side of the colour. And for Gogeta's, it's Bulma Humble Wish, requires 1 energy and 1 Z energy, and is a 1k as well. Has 2 skills. First, an auto, where if your leader is a green Veku BR or a green Gogeta BR leader, so it works with either side of the lead, or even the Z lead as well. When you attack with a Gogeta BR card or a Vegeta BR card that both have EX Evolve, then you may choose 1 card from under that card and use it in a combo with skills to get for the turn. If you do, negate your skill for the turn. So that's nice. If you attack with a Goku BR or Vegeta BR card that has the EX Evolve skill that you've EX Evolved out, you get to combo with a card underneath it. And then the activate main is limit 1 if your leader is a green Veku BR or Gogeta BR card, and you use 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck, or place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck. You get to play it to 1 Goku BR or Vegeta BR with an entry cost of 1 and green from your deck with skills needed for the turn. Then shuffle your deck and remove this card from the game. So you lose this card and a card from your hand just to basically play out a 1-drop Gogeta or Vegeta BR that's green. But we don't know what those do yet because we haven't seen them. But unless they're amazing, I don't see this doesn't seem that great. But we need to see the rest of the art chart before we can properly judge, which we'll get later on today. Just it's a bit too late to wait for that and put this out, so that'll be on next week's video. Then we got revealed 2 of the Gogeta cards that you can play in the deck. So first one is SS Gogeta facing the ultimates. This is when you can actually trigger a draw for your lead, because it's the one of the 2 that has a union skill. So it's a 6 cost 25k with deflecting dual attack. So deflect's nice, and as well as its union infusion skill is for 2 green if your opponent has 2 or more energy, and you draw one card. You use a green Goku BR card and a green Vegeta BR card, and similar to the Zeno Gogeta stuff, it's got a permanent which allows you to use the union skill using cards from a different area. And in this case, you can choose battle cards in your Z energy when choosing this choosing cards to use with this card's union skill from your hand. If you do, you place the chosen cards in their owner's drops. So essentially for this, you can union fuse without using cards in your hand, but use cards in your Z energy instead. So it means you can combo to ramp up Z energy and like defend yourself, and then use those pieces from your Z energy to your drop for the union skill. And it has auto, which is limit 1, where when this card is played, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and KO it, and then this card can't be KO'd until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this does still dodge all the free counter plays because it's got deflect, and it dodges the freezer by making itself can't be KO'd because your autos will trigger first, triggering this, and then it freezes auto will try to KO it and can't. And dual attack 25k is not too bad, just still costing 2 green for this effect seems too costly. I feel like it probably should have been 1. Like, compare this to the Gogeta Zeno cards, and they kind of do the same thing, but you can, yeah, they don't draw to replace itself, but they were cheaper. They were all like 1 cost mostly. The ones that were played anyway, they were 1 cost. So still a bit too costly. But then that's Green's thing, making things more costly than they should be. Then we have the 8-drop SS Gogeta Limits Broken. This also has deflect, but it also has double strike now, and it's 8 cost, so it is straight away unaffected or out the range of the free counter plays. And it also has a permanent where this can't be KO'd. Same with the red stuff. And its auto is limit 1. When this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, you know, barrier and KO it, and then your opponent discards 1 card from hand. So we got like a more barrier removal as well, like we did for like green, generic green in the form of the Fated Rivals in the last set. But yeah, but instead of just popping something for barrier, it also makes your opponent discard. With the Goku just come down and pop something for barrier. So you got a bit of discard in there as well, like a little Green's little signature. And you can play this by using the activate main by limit 1 by paying 1 green if your opponent has 3 or more energy, and you add one of your Gogeta BR cards with entry cost of 6 to your Z energy. Play this card from your Z energy. So essentially that means if you drop this 6-drop out and have the 6-drop on board, and you've done swing with it, you can then pay 1 green, move this 6-drop from your battle area to your Z energy, and play this card from your Z energy to then trigger the auto as well. So that's pretty cool. That's the nice thing I like about it, and the fact that the Gogeta BR with energy cost of 6 from you put from your board to your Z energy doesn't have a like energy restriction. No, it's not an energy restriction, a color restriction. So you can use this as like a green tech. You can use green tech in one of the other Gogeta decks to be able to play this and have this option, which is quite nice. Just be able to, for 1 energy, bring out a 35k double strike that pops something for barrier and makes your opponent discard 1 in blue or red. Seems quite fun. The last 2 cards we got from the first part of today's reveals for green as well is the SSG Son Goku Crimson Impact and SSB Son Goku and SSB Vegeta Team Attack. So 2 other cards, the Goku and Vegeta cards, and one is a 4 SSG Goku. Sorry, is a 4 cost 15k. With an evolved skill, limit 1 by paying 1 green, draw a card, and play it on top of a green Son Goku BR card with entry cost of 3 or less. And it says 3 or less because we got some old green Gogeta BR cards before, like a while ago, back during like set 6, I think it was, that were promos that you could still use. So that's why the entry cost 3 or less is there. It also has a permanent where this card's EX Evolve skill can be activated from your Z energy. So this is a way to help you awaken turn 2 with your lead if you've combo this off and put in your Z energy. And it's also as if your leader is a green Veku BR card or a green Gogeta BR card, and you discard 1 card from your hand. When this card is played, play up to 1 Son Goku BR or Vegeta BR with both green and energy cost of 1 from your drop with the skills you get for the turn in rest mode. So technically you could discard the card you want to play out from this effect to the drop to play it out in rest mode, so you don't really lose a card from your hand, because you're going to basically just go and play this 1 drop from my hand instead of, but they've got to go around the whole of discarding it to play it. But then that allows you to trigger things like Healing Pod, which is quite cool. Be able to play a Healing Pod turn 1 and then have this to get some extra draw power. Seems very gimmicky, but it's starting to get me a little bit more hyped, because this just looks mediocre so far, but we got to see the rest of the art time. And then we got the 6-drop SSB Goku and Vegeta tag team. So this is a 6-drop 15k with double strike. Has a permanent that isn't great, which is when this card would leave your battle area, remove from the game instead. Not great, but it happens to be there. And then also when this card is played, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and entry cost of 6 or less, KO it. Not for barrier, but still is a is a 6 drop. It's the 6 drop or less. It's not too bad. And then this card gets 5k power for the turn. And additionally, if you have at least one Son Goku BR card and one Vegeta BR card in your Z Energy, draw one card. Now it would be interesting to know if you have, say, this card in your Z Energy, if you can, if having both those characters on one card trigger that, or if it's got to be one of each. So that'll be interesting, because that'll be cool that you just have one card in your Z Energy to trigger that to get a draw. And you've got an activate main limit 1, where for 1 green, if your leader is a green Veku BR card or green Gogeta BR card and you have 3 or more energy, you can play this card from your hand or Z Energy. So that's quite cool to play, like combo with this, then play it from your Z Energy just for 1 once you're at 3 or more energy. That's quite cool. So that's quite interesting. And get a 20k, that allows you to potentially draw a card as well. It's nice having these little things where you can just combo out of attacks. You could defend by comboing. That's one kind of interesting gimmick from this, where you can combo defensively to defend yourself, and then charge the cards to your Z Energy, and then play them out from your Z Energy, and you get draws from like your lead or themselves, which is quite interesting. So it's looking a little bit more interesting, but it does seem lackluster compared to like other green decks, and also the fact that it's falling in line with what green has been struggling with for a while, which is its effects are costing more than most of the other colours, which is green's real big problem. Is it being more costly to do what it wants to do than whatever colours do what they're trying to do. And that's it for the reveals today, but we do go over this week's Webcam Locals results. So for this week we had 16 players, which is not the most we've had ever, but is back to when we first started, getting like quite a few players, so quite a lot of brand new people as well. And for the 16, here are the results. We have first place was myself playing Set2 Vegeta, because for this week, until I did put it to a vote in the Discord, where to see if people wanted to try, because we got our finals coming up next month. And for that, we definitely know that Anniversary Box is going to be legal. And since Anniversary Box is still like until the end of October, not coming out to the end of October, and people want to start testing and trying out things ready for finals, because a lot of us are going to finals and want to test properly for it, get as much testing as possible. I put it to a vote in the Discord if people wanted to allow proxies just for the Anniversary Box brand new cards for the finals, so we can do more testing with things we're actually be taking. And the majority was a vote for yes. So up until the official release of Anniversary Box, the locals are going to be allowing proxies for just the brand new Anniversary Box cards. So it means the new battle cards, Unison Z battle cards in it. None of the reprints or anything like that. Just the brand new cards for Anniversary Box. So for this week, I took Set2 Vegeta and ended up going 4-0, winning it with the Set2 Vegeta with the new Z battle cards. If you do want to check it out, the video will be out tomorrow for my stream game, so you can check out the gameplay, and a deck list will follow later in the week as well. Then we had second place being Andre with his yellow Starter Kiku deck, going 3-1. Dan as well with his yellow Starter Kiku as well, going 3-1. Fourth place being Michael with his Turtle School deck, going 3-1. And then the last 3-1 of the top being Peter with his yellow Starter Goku. And fun fact is, all 4 of the the 4 people after me were all the opponents I played against, which is quite funny. So the only person they lost to was me, each of them. And then we got 6th place Remigo with his S3 reboot, followed by Bigger with his top 08s, my deck suggestion for his stream, my deck suggestion, which he finally managed to play after finally getting the leader and stuff. And in 8th place was Josh from Deck Planet with his SS3 reboot. So a heavy yellow, like only run red deck, but heavy yellow and blue and a little bit green. So 1 red and 1 green, heavy yellow and some blue as well, just being an SS3 reboot. And then from 9th to 16th we have President Eric with his Red Sim going 2-2. Stephen with his Reboot Pan going 2-2. Reds, like here's where all the red decks are. Foul with his Red Sin going 2-2. Tom, Pilot and Red Reboot Raditz and going 1-3. So unfortunately he couldn't make the Tom couldn't make the same result as the reboot that did won the EU Webcam Regional last weekend or weekend before. Unfortunately couldn't replicate as that. Maybe it's because he's running the wrong list, like he should have been running one of each Fate Rivals. We don't know. Haven't seen his list. But then we got Nick from Northeast Kai's playing Reboot Marseille going 1-3. Werner, I think I did get mixed up with Werner and Zegna. I think because I did ask, they didn't put the what leader they're playing in the Discord at the end of the event, and I did ask, I did tag them and ask, and then I was advised that these were ones. But I think Werner was actually playing Red Sin and went 1-3. Then we got Sea Duck playing Brody Surge going 1-3. The second event, Webcam Locals, because he was playing last week's as well. And we got Segna, who unfortunately, well, he was playing Overall Goku and went 0-2 drop in the end. So that was the results. So that is it for this week's news. Feel free once again to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and comment this video as well. And I'll see you with more news next week, and look forward to my videos on Setu Vegito coming next week as well. So once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.